Hello, this is an early years speech and language therapy tutorial looking at what speech and language skills we expect to develop at different ages and stages of typical development. My name is Jo Colwell. I'm one of the early years speech and language therapists. This series of bite-sized tutorials is intended to give early years practitioners easy to access information in short chunks so you can get to know more about what speech and language therapists do, build your knowledge and understanding of children's communication development, and gain ideas about how you can help children develop these skills in your early years setting. Ideally, you will have already completed the tutorial called What Do We Mean by Speech and Language Development? The information in this tutorial is based on research carried out by the Communication Trust, summarised in their document called Universally Speaking. Follow the link at the bottom of the slide to find out more. In this tutorial, we will look at what we can expect from typically developing children of different ages, and then to summarise, I will introduce the speech and language therapy monitoring tool used by many early years settings to monitor the communication development of children in their care and support consideration of when further support might be needed. Babies communicate from day one. As they develop, they begin to watch the adults around them and start making noises. They will communicate with adults by watching their faces and usually try to copy what they do. Being able to copy is important for young babies. This is how they learn. By 6 months, babies will usually be making sounds like cooing, gurgling and babbling to themselves and with other people. They will make noises to get your attention. They watch your face when you talk to them. They get excited when they hear voices coming, showing their excitement by kicking or waving their arms or making noises. They smile and laugh when other people smile and laugh, and they make sounds back when people talk to them. Babies communicate in more ways by the time they get to a year, making noises, pointing, and looking to get your attention. They start to understand routines, simple words, and activities. By a year, babies will usually make talking noises, babble strings of sounds like mum, 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 ba, 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 point and look at you to get your attention. And many, although not all 1-year-olds, will be saying their first words, and they may also use gestures. They will be starting to understand words like bye-bye and up, especially when a gesture is used at the same time, like holding your hands out. They recognise the names of familiar objects, things like cup, bowl, teddy, mummy. They look at you when you speak or when they hear their name called. They take turns in conversations, babbling back when you talk to them. By 18 months, babies will be starting to talk. Not everyone will understand what they're saying, but they will be having a good try at saying a few words. Babies will usually be saying around 20 words by about 18 months. These are usually things they hear a lot at home or in the setting, such as milk, doggy, yay, bye-bye, more, or no. They say words in a babyish way, but the words are usually consistent in how they sound. They may understand some simple words and short phrases. These are usually things they hear a lot during the day, such as coat on, drink, shoes, bus, dinner time, all gone. They recognise and point to familiar objects when you ask them. They enjoy games like peekaboo and pat a cake and toys that make a noise. They'll like the comfort of a familiar adult nearby. They will be exploring their world and starting to enjoy simple pretend play like pretending to talk on the telephone. Toddlers are into everything and will be exploring the world around them much more actively. Their understanding of words and phrases grows really quickly during this time. They understand much more than they say. This can result in frustration when they don't get their message across. By 2 years, toddlers will usually use over 50 single words like juice, car, biscuit. They may be starting to put short sentences together with 2 to 3 words, such as more juice or bye-bye daddy. They may ask simple questions such as "what that?" They might do this quite a lot. They may understand between 200 and 500 words. They understand simple questions and instructions like, "Where's baby? Go and get your coat. Mummy's turn." They enjoy pretend play with their toys, such as feeding a dolly or pretending to drive a car, usually making noises and talking while they're playing. They can become very frustrated when they can't get their message across. This is one reason for toddler tantrums. By 3 years, children will be saying lots more words. You will notice that they use new words almost daily. This is a really exciting time, and children will be asking endless questions to help them learn and find out about the world around them. They're often keen to have conversations with adults they know well. Often they will be using up to 300 words. They'll use different types of words to do different things, like describing what things look like, using words like big or soft. Where they are, using words like under or on. What things are for, like eating or playing. That say who they are, like me. And to describe how many, like lots. They may refer to something that's happened in the past. They might put 4 or 5 words together to make short sentences, such as "me want more juice" or "him want his coat." They ask lots of questions. They will have clearer speech, although they may still have some immaturities like pider instead of spider. They often have problems saying more difficult sounds like sh, ch, th, and r. However, people who know them can mostly understand them. They listen to and remember simple stories with pictures. They understand longer instructions like "put on your coat and get your bag," or "where's mummy's coat?" They understand simple who, what and where questions. They play more with other children and join in with play. They play more complex, imaginative games. And they're able to have a proper conversation, although they may flit around the topic a bit and be difficult to follow at times. They may be able to recognise how other people feel and will try to do something about it. Like, "Oh, Josie's sad. She need a hug." Children understand and say lots of words and sentences by the time they get to 4. You can see them using their talking to meet new friends or to work out problems. They talk to find out new information by asking lots of questions. A massive amount of learning happens in this time. By 4 years, children will usually ask lots of questions using words like what, where, and why. They can answer questions about why something has happened. They use longer sentences and link sentences together, like "I had pizza for tea and then I played in the garden." They can describe events that have already happened, like "we got dressed up and we went to the hall and sing songs." "All the mummies and daddies did watch." They mostly have clear speech, though will continue to have difficulties with a small number of sounds, like r as in rabbit and l as in letter, and some other more tricky sounds. They listen to longer stories and answer questions about a story that they've just heard. For example, simple questions such as "who did Cinderella dance with at the ball?" or "were Cinderella's sisters kind?" They understand and often use colour, number and time-related words like red, car, 3, and so on. They enjoy make-believe play, and they start to like simple jokes, even though often their own jokes don't make much sense. They start to be able to play and plan games with others. So, how does this help you as an early years practitioner? Here's where I'm going to introduce the early years monitoring tool. Many early years settings are already using this to monitor the communication development of children in their care and support consideration of when further support might be needed. On the left, you can see a description of the communication behaviours we expect to see at different ages and stages of development, just like we've been looking at up till now. And on the right, things to look out for that might indicate a cause for concern, and some suggestions for what you could do to support this area, like referring to audiology. Start completing the tool for the age band the child fits into. If a child's just had a birthday, you might want to look at the age band younger than them. And similarly, if a child is coming up to a birthday, you might want to check the band older than them as well. Within each age band, you need to make a judgment on whether a child shows each of the behaviours described. There are 3 boxes: most of the time, sometimes, or not yet. Tick the box that best describes what the child can currently do. If a child shows most of the behaviours in an age band, sometimes or not yet, you might want to look at the age band younger than them. You may see changes over time, in which box best describes what the child can do. You can use the tool to track how the child is developing skills across a period of time. You'll see there are also 3 spaces at the top to record 3 different monitoring dates. Remember, all children are different, and this list of skills is not exhaustive, but it should give you some helpful guidelines of what to be looking out for. If you need further advice, you can always talk to your SENCO or early years advisor. If you want to know more about using the early years speech and language therapy monitoring tool, why not check out a more detailed training called How to Use the Early Years Speech and Language Therapy Monitoring Tool. Thanks for listening.